What is going on, everybody? It is Jackson, Andrew, Chase from Dinger Dudes, and today we have a very special guest. You've seen him on the podcast before within the past year. Our Yankees fan, Daniel Karp. Daniel, how's your day going, man?
It's going good. I'm watching the Yankees on my phone while we're doing this.
There we go. There we
Yeah,
go. Man. Good man. See, we'd be doing the same thing if the Braves game didn't get postponed. Yeah, the weather right
yeah,
here is pretty terrible right now.
Yeah,
Pretty terrible.
we've had bad weather here too recently.
You
yeah.
know,
I'm a
I was
home.
just gonna say it's crazy because Chase and I were at the home opener on Friday. It was gorgeous weather, and then yesterday it was a little cloudy, but still gorgeous weather. And then we wake up today, and it's just like it's the nastiest thing I've ever seen here. And weather gets bad down here in Georgia. Like, when it's bad, it's bad.
You don't know bipolar weather until you live in Georgia a couple of years. It can't make up its mind. It's
I've been in
crazy.
Florida a bunch of times where it's bad.
Okay, I see you understand.
Yeah, Steven, the other guy on the podcast, was supposed to go to the Braves game today with one of our other buddies who happens to be a Marlins fan. Yes, Marlins fans exist. They
We met
exist.
one. We've met one. Yes.
We know one, but
Great.
unfortunately that
Things
went down.
exist.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah. But oh wait, what'd you say, Daniel?
Rays fans exist.
yeah.
Ooh,
Hey, I don't. Funny enough.
I've heard some of those memes.
Well, wait on. Sorry.
oh, I think his mic's
Jackson, I will
his
have an
mic-
audio issues on that right. I'm
they're
sorry,
having
y'all.
audio issues. Wait, hold on. Can you repeat that one more time, Daniel?
Do you know any Rays fans besides Bartolo's memes?
Oh, Rays fans.
Yeah.
I
I thought you
know
said
one
bright.
Rays fan. So
Uh,
I know one Rays fan, and that's
I don't.
I don't
my
know.
dad's friend from high school, Tampa
I
Bay.
thought
They exist.
I
Yeah.
thought you said Braves fan at first. It's like, wait a
Yeah,
minute
I
now.
was like,
Braves
what?
country runs
I
deep.
heard Braves fan at first.
I don't
Now,
have any issues with the Braves fans. No issues at all.
Well, we
yeah,
start 1-8, but we're still faithful at the end of the day. Okay.
Hey man.
We're going for MLB history. We're going to be the first team in history to start 0-7 and make the playoffs. If all goes well.
We'll see.
If all
you
goes
know.
well.
But now bringing up the topic with MLB opening weekend, the Braves starting 1-8, Yankees doing pretty well. Cardinals have a winning record within the first 7 games. As a Cardinals
True.
fan, shocking for me. And I wanted to bring up a topic that's been circulating the MLB, and this is related to your team, Daniel Karp, Torpedo Bats. What are your thoughts on Torpedo Bats? Yankees biasness aside, are you for
Yeah,
Torpedo Bats? What are your just stance on that?
I actually like them because to me
Mhm.
it's like an alternative of the juice balls from 2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love the juice ball 1 year era. It was amazing. And this torpedo bat thing, yeah, bias aside, but like with bias, it's great. I was at the game where they put up 20 runs, so it was a lot of fun.
That
And
was awesome.
I think it's good for the sport. I think the sport has seen a little lull of offense production within the last couple of years, last 2, 3 years, and these torpedo bats, it's just a new story. And baseball. A lot of people nowadays, especially, don't like baseball because how long the game is, how boring they say the game is, and now they
Yeah.
implement the rules. But the more storylines, I know it's intentional, but the more storylines that come with baseball, it's better for the audience. It's better for the community. So like now the community is hooked on these torpedo bats,
Mhm.
and it's it's bringing more fans into the game, as well as it's also cool to see because chicks dig the long ball, they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's true.
now we're seeing more of the long ball, which is a lot of fun, and apparently my team has been hitting a lot of home runs as of recent, and I am enjoying it.
Mhm.
But I think overall it's a good thing for the game. More teams are going to pick up on it. My
Mhm.
only my only thing, like my concern with it is that one, I think MLB is going to look into it or whatever. I don't think there's
They
anything wrong.
are.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it because according to the rules that I've been reading, there's nothing wrong with it. But my my one concern is that the Yankees hired a guy, I don't know where he's from or whatever, has a PhD, whatever, and he kind of figured this thing out.
Yep.
Now, other teams are going to try to do, how are other teams going to try to hire somebody that is automatically going to pick this thing up? Because this isn't something you're just going to pick up. This is something
Mm.
like you really got to learn. And this guy spent the all season learning. You're not going to, now we're already almost in the second week of April. Who the hell is going to pick up on this into the season? It doesn't matter how early into the season it is. You're in the season. And
Yep.
now you're gonna have to make that adjustment to those new torpedo bats instead of having that off season to make an adjustment to a torpedo bat. You have all spring training to get used to it, and now you're in a regular season, you're doing fine with it. Who's gonna want to pick up a new bat and learn how to use it mid-season? Nobody.
No.
That is going to cause injury, like we saw with
And-
elbows. And I don't know what comes with that, but it's just an example of how it can cause an injury by switching something up so quick in the middle of the season.
And you're absolutely right. And I at the station that we work for, it's kind of a split decision whether we like it or not. I'm on the side that I
It's not a
love
split
it.
decision. It's like a 99 to
It's more like an
1.
80-20.
Okay.
It's an
It's
80-20
one guy.
percentage.
It's one guy.
It's two.
Three. No,
Two.
I've talked to three people who don't like this, but that's besides the point. I'm on the side that I'm for
Against a team, that's why.
Well, you also got to remember the one that's not for it is a Marlins fan. I think he's just upset that Jazz Chisholm is kind of producing more home runs at the plate than he did back when he was with
Propaganda.
Miami. Yeah, so I think it's a lot that has to do with that.
But I'm on the side that I'm for. And matter of fact, I applauded the Yankees analytic team or the guy who came up with it. I applauded.
He needs a raise.
I thought it was genius. And you're absolutely right. I remember I was watching Mad Dog rant about this, and he was absolutely right in saying that it doesn't do as much for the hitter than people think because it still takes technique. It's not like you can pick up a torpedo bat and start cranking home runs. It's a process you got to learn. It's a whole new adjustment. And when I try to debate with somebody who doesn't like these torpedo bats, I kind of use a analogy. To me, it's kind of like in football for receivers. It's kind of like whether you want gloves or not. There's if you want to catch a ball barehanded, you definitely can. It takes technique, but you can also use gloves that can help you catch the ball better. Yet that still takes technique. It's not like you can go put on a pair of gloves and make these catches that NFL receivers are making. It's all about preference. So to me, if you want to get a torpedo bat and help put more wood on the barrel where you make the most contact, by all means do it. It's not like you can do it and just automatically be a superstar. It still takes technique. And I think, like you said, it's going to add more offense to the game. And I'm all for it.
It's also important to remember that not every player is using it and not every player is going to use it.
Aaron Judge doesn't have it, and he's still the most offensive.
Smashing homers.
Yeah. But there's also players
You
in
could
the
say
league
best
that
player. What's up, though?
I mean, look, I'm not going to disagree with you there. I'm absolutely not going to disagree with you there. I'm not shying away from that statement. But I mean, obviously you got a Tony right there, but that's besides the point. But look, there's also some players that like teams are getting shipments for these bats. Like Daniel Karp said, you're not going to pick up on it instantly because it takes technique and it takes training. And you've got players around the league like the Minnesota Twins got their shipments for the torpedo bats. But Carlos Correa said, I'm absolutely not going to use this because I don't trust it. And there's not a year worth of analytics for it. We're only judging this based
It was a
on
3-game set.
well, and you were only judging this based on what we've seen in the first week of baseball. We don't know how the numbers are going to look after a full 162 games. Maybe it doesn't change that much. And funny enough, throughout the first week of baseball, the collective average amongst all 32 teams was actually lower than what it's been in the last 5 years, despite there being a torpedo bat. So we need a wider margin of analytics and actual numbers that's going to come into play with these torpedo bats before I think we can make a solidified decision on how effective they are. But Jackson, what are your thoughts?
Well, Daniel Karp mentioned before that the MLB is going to look into it, but ESPN posted earlier today, Rob Manfred praises torpedo bats as it's absolutely good for the MLB. My stance on torpedo bats, I'm 100% for it. I think, MLB, there was no written rule originally against torpedo bats. Yeah, look at that.
There you go.
Look at that. There was no original rule against torpedo bats, and I kind of posted on my own little personal baseball page that I think it's more of a strategic push. I kind of did a comparison of the tush push, the tush push, the NFL. They were all thinking the tush push should be banned. No, it's just a strategic play. And there's no written rule against the tush push. It's just if you can execute it well, if you can use this tool well. Like the Philadelphia Eagles, they've used the tush push and it led them to the Super Bowl, one Super Bowl within this past couple months. So honestly, I'm 100% for torpedo bats. I'm not against it. And the few guys who are against it at the station, they see it as an ethics thing. just because you can use it doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. It's an ethics thing for them.
That's not a thing in
So
sports. It's never been a thing in sports.
it's not a thing in sports.
No.
The only thing you want to do when you're an athlete is win, and you're going to take whatever advantage the game hands over to you.
As long as
But
it's legal, you're going to take the advantage.
exactly,
I'm
yeah.
at.
And I actually want to ask you a question, Daniel. In on the same lines of the torpedo bats, there's also been conversations amongst the changes that might come from the torpedo bats, assuming that the league continues to allow this. Let's just say that it does give hitters an advantage and that these numbers don't drop, but they only increase. Do you think that pitchers are going to get some leeway with a little bit of some substances? Because pitchers are now not allowed to use any substance whatsoever. But if the hitters get an advantage, do you think we see a world where pitchers are going to get some advantages as
Even
well?
the playing field a little bit.
It's not really. I can't say that this is really an advantage. It's just technique. There's no advantage given. They're trying to help themselves by bringing the wood by putting the thickest part of the bat where they hit the ball better, where they generally hit the ball. So as a pitcher, you have analytics for a hitter. Say you're a lefty going up against another lefty, and he can hit anything in the lower third, in the lower quadrant corner. You're going to try to pinpoint it in that lower quadrant third. That gives yourself. So there's really no advantage being given. If you really think about it,
That's fair.
pitchers have the same. The thing is, hitting and pitching is so different in terms of like skill set and like what you're trying to
Strategy.
do. Exactly strategy, and it's so different that like it's not really getting an advantage. A pitcher has the same advantages as a hitter does, but their strategies are totally different.
And you're right. And think about a different type of bats have always been a thing. Like different players use different bats anyway. This is just the first time someone's actually pushed the wood on the barrel and just shifted the barrel to, like you said, where they make the most contact. So this is a different strategy to the hitting game, but if it's within the rules, it's legal. It's not. I don't understand the ethics argument. It's like y'all said that you think the Yankees organization sitting there saying, "Ooh, like this is a good idea. This is definitely going to help them where they make the most contact." But is it right? Is it okay to do this? That's not what they're thinking. They want to win another World Series, and if they're playing within the rules, it's fair game. And hold on, Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have more insight on this than I do since you are a Yankees fan. But didn't Giancarlo Stanton use the torpedo bat last postseason?
Apparently, and that's why his elbows are acting up because, like I said, you are transitioning to something totally different in the middle of the season. Do you remember a couple of years ago in Tyler Glasnow, his first start after not using sunscreen and rosin, which I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know why they banned sunscreen and rosin. It makes no sense to me why they banned that. But he had his elbows acting up. He had to get another Tommy John surgery right after that.
Right. Yeah. It's a good point. All fair points.
Absolutely.
Now, I was going to bring up a topic kind of related to the pitching side, and you were talking about like strategy or just pushes or just any sort of advantages. Now, we've had this discussion previously on previous episodes of Dinger Dudes, the automated ball strike system. Daniel, I wanted to know your thoughts on that because that's being implemented in the minor leagues where we interviewed a minor league pitcher where if you tap you get 3 of those a game, you can test whether a call was a ball or strike or if it was in the strike zone. I want to know your thoughts on that.
I'm very neutral on it. It doesn't really bother me either way. I mean, it's cool, but like I just don't know where the decision came from that where a tiny sliver of the ball is hitting the box, it's a strike. I feel like maybe half the ball is fair, but it's also hard to measure that. I don't I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, if they do it, they do it. If they don't.
And I don't know.
I was gonna ask, should it be implemented in the MLB? That's what my second.
Oh, should it be implemented in the MLB?
Should it, in your opinion? Because they have it in the minors. They have it in college ball.
Yeah. I think it worked. So they can implement it. I think it worked in the spring training because I think it was just so like 50-50. Like half the time you got it right, half the time you got it wrong. And it's okay. Like you don't want it to be a thing where you're constantly taking advantage of her. And if they have a rule put in there, like, all right, 3 times a game, I'm cool with that. Because like I know if they don't put anything like that in there, teams are just gonna be taking advantage and tapping their head all the time. So I don't think it's a bad thing, but it also just I feel like maybe it takes away from the integrity of the game. having to take
Yeah.
the umpire out there.
Mhm.
Right. And for the argument that, people say that it takes away the human error, the way, yeah, of course I look at it is, because correct me, if I'm wrong, you only get three a game, but is it three right? Like, is it three in total, or if you get it right, you keep it?
I would think it's like that, kind of like
That's
challenge.
what I think it is. I think it's if you get it right. I think you get three wrongs a game. Like if you get three wrong, then you're done. I think that's how it works in the minors. I believe so anyway. And I think if you do it that way, these players or pitchers, I know pitchers can do, they're not going to do it every call that they think might be incorrect. They're going to use it for probably the most important instances of
Like
the
a
game.
3-2 pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Like the most the make or break pitches of an at bat, with runners in scoring position, just something that can change the integrity of the game. So it's not going to be an outrageous use of the system to the point where the umps don't get that human error fact or the human error factor is going to be taken away. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be abused in that sense. And I think, I like it. I like the human error part of the game, but I also hate it when a game ends or is shifted because of a obviously or outrageous bad call. And I like it for the fact that it can prevent that in a game. But Jackson, as a Cardinals fan, I want to bring this point up because I thought it was funny. I think it kind of proves a point for this system, Jackson. I try to look it up. I couldn't find the name of the umpire that did this. But this past, I think it was Friday night when the Cardinals were playing the Red Sox before the game even started. So I guess the Cardinals had a history of like mocking the ump and tapping their helmet
Mhm.
because they disagree with a lot of his
I was
calls.
doing it at the game. I went to 2 games over the weekend, and I was doing this the whole time.
Yeah, we did that Friday night at the Braves game. Friday night, every single time there's a strike call, we did. The umpire, I cannot remember his name, before the game even started, issued a warning to the St. Louis Cardinals saying that if I see you tap your helmet, it's an automatic ejection. But then his scorecard came out at the end of the game, and he missed 22 calls. So I think it's kind of funny that he kind of called his shot, saying, "Hey, I'm like kind of saying like, hey, no head tapping if you don't like my calls." Then proceeds to make 22 bad calls. I think that just kind of proves a point that it would
Yeah.
help, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing for umpires saying we're going to call you out for every bad call. But I think just for the overall integrity of the game, I think it's good for it.
So I was looking at it with the automated ball strike system and how it was implemented in spring training. Yes, it is like the NFL where if it's successful, you get to keep it.
I thought so.
So that's how it was like in spring training. But with the Cardinals, and I kind of want to bring in like an NBA instance that we discussed on Out of Pocket with John Morant and the finger guns. Like just because the Cardinals have a history of it, maybe should be like the whole MLB. Like, don't just throw shade at the Cardinals. Multiple teams have done that. I know the Cardinals have a history of doing this. I've seen the games. Like, I just think it's unfair, man. Honestly, just because you have a history of it doesn't mean
I think it's because it's just like so like I know it's funny and all, but it's so childish.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's something that like the fans are doing in the stands during the game,
Right.
not the players. I
yeah.
think it's more of like a behavioral standpoint, like a professionalism more than anything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I get it, but I also don't. I like to have fun. I don't want
Yeah.
to.
I think his main purpose of doing it was because the game before the Cardinals did it like every bad call and like everybody was doing
Like,
it.
it's fun.
So
It
it
was
was
fun
a
as
couple of times.
Oh
It's
yeah,
kind of like,
funny.
yeah, I think it was kind of like before the game, like, okay, guys, you got your fun now, but I'm not going to allow it this game. I think that's the message he's trying to get across. It's fun, like
Mhm.
the first four or three times you do it, but once you do it after every single bad pitch you don't like, it gets a little
Yeah.
annoying. And going back to the strike zone, though, the human error, because now every home plate umpire, in a way, kind of has their own strike zone. Some umpires like to favor the inside part of the strike zone. Some favor the outside, the corners. They all kind of favor the strike zone in different ways. And in a way, the way the league's developed the last few years with these umpires, some pitchers understand which umpires favor which part of the strike zone, and they'll kind of adjust their pitching style in that kind of way. But with the automated strike zone system, I feel like you've got to keep it to a minimum because I think if you allow too much control over what balls and strikes you want to call, you want to challenge, then it's going to
Mhm.
make every strike zone, I guess, in a way, it's the same. I don't want to say the same because it sounds like I'm just saying like
I don't want the game to be fair, but in a way, I don't know. I kind of feels like it's going to throw the game off a little bit if you give too much power to the umpires. So I think you definitely have to keep it at a minimum of what you can challenge if it's going to be put into the MLB. But I don't mind like during the big moments of the game if you want to review it or anything. That's my 2 cents on it.
Now I know that we only really have 10 minutes left heading into this meeting. So I want to kind of shift into our last topic. How are you feeling about your teams within like the first week of the season as a Yankees fan, Cardinals fan, and Braves fans? I know y'all wanted to go on your little rant about the Braves. So I
I'm
want to
not gonna
start
rant.
with hold on. I want to start with, the best team out of the three, Daniel
Yeah,
Karp.
absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean,
I mean, it's true. It's true.
yeah, I mean, they're off to a really hot start this year. I mean, they're slugging like crazy. Their OPS as a team is over 1,000 8 games in. Like,
Yep.
that's like unheard of. Like, let's be real.
Mhm.
I mean, we had a segment on our show yesterday. We did a baseball show from 10 to 11, and one of the questions was, what is the who's somebody had stood out? So I said Trent Grisham.
Yeah.
It's like Trent Grisham. I think is a really nice swing. I've always wished he would have hit. But then that leads us into the next conversation is when Giancarlo Stanton comes back, what the hell do they do with that DH position?
Mm,
And Rice is mashing.
he
Trent Grisham
is.
is so good where he deserves to play center field 4 or 5 times a week. Cody Bellinger is going to start every day. Aaron Judge is going to start every day, either at right field or DH. Jason Dominguez has been hitting pretty well, so I would like to keep him going up there. The only thing is like I wish Cody Bellinger could just play third base.
Mm,
Mhm.
Unfortunately, he's a lefty,
sure.
and
Carp.
you can't do that. So who knows? I mean, he plays pretty well in left field, center field, right field, at first base. So I wouldn't. I'm sure he would be pretty good at third base as well.
Well, yeah, well, I actually want to ask you just to piss them
Yeah.
off. I want to ask you, Daniel Karp, how you liking Max Fried so far?
I hope
Oh,
you're loving him.
yeah, I went to his first game. It was pretty fun. I mean, I've always liked Max Fried. He was always pretty good. He's got that devastating curveball. Um, yeah, I mean, they're gonna be relying on him heavy this year, and Carlos Rodon as well. But Carlos Rodon is just a head case. That guy, I love Carlos Rodon, but that guy is just a head case every year with him. But I
Yeah.
think my only worry is that pitching rotation. It's like every year the Yankees, their starters are so good at Memorial Day weekend. They're always like an below a 3 ERA. Maybe their highest guy in the ERA is like a 3.3, if anything. And then once the Memorial Day comes around, you come around June and whatever, summer, July 4th, it just comes crashing down. The bullpen starts to suck. The pitching rotation sucks. But then you look at it like the rotation, they're only going 5 innings. And then the bullpen.
Why are you making that face, Jackson? What's going on there, Jackson?
Talking about his bullpen sucking.
Hang on. Oh, hold on. Carp,
I
I
didn't,
didn't.
I didn't say my bullpen sucks now. I said it about June, they'll suck.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
hey, and Mr.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carp, I'm glad you said that. I actually, I
No,
want to,
no,
I
no.
remember,
We go through the same thing every year.
well, I remember last time that you were on the show when we were talking about the off season. I remember that we were kind of going through the moves the Yankees were making, kind of in and out of the bullpen, and
Right.
kind of the hopes you wanted. So I want to ask you, like, how do you feel about the bullpen right now?
Devin
Uh,
Williams.
you know who I did want?
Who's that?
I wanted AJ Minter.
Oh, man, dude, they crushed my soul, man. That's
And
it's disgusting.
he
It's
went to the Mets and
disgusting.
he started trashing on my teams, and then now I don't like AJ Minter anymore.
I don't either. I don't like him either. We're gonna get it 10 plus times every single season now, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
rough.
I like the bullpen. I've always liked Matt Blake, what he can do with them, but I think that we've just gotten so reliant on the fact that Matt Blake is just like this pitching guru, which he is, but like they're not always going to pan out. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, Clay Holmes panned out, but then there was times where he sucked.
Right.
And you can't think that, yeah, the bullpen on paper doesn't look great. Like Devin Williams, Luke Weaver at the end, and then you at your eighth and ninth, which is great. But then like you look at guys like Mark Leiter Jr., Fernando Cruz, think guys like that, and then you have like some no names like Ryan Yarbrough. Oh yeah, Ryan Yarbrough coming. He has a wicked curveball. And he's gonna throw 90-mile-an-hour sinker. Oh, Matt Blake will do something with him. Like you can't always live like that. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like very just like low key about this bullpen and just see how it goes because I can't rely that this guy is just going to turn everybody into a stud. Yeah, he'll turn guys that you don't expect him to a stud. Like, when
Yeah.
Mark Leiter got traded last year, it's like, oh, Mark Leiter, this guy's
Mm.
a splitter. He's going to be so good. Mac Blade is going to turn this guy into something great. And like he's been okay. He hasn't been great, but I can't. We've been spoiled with that, and like personally, I can't continue to live with that mindset of every new person is going to be great because of Matt Blake.
Yeah. Hey, Braves DFA'd Hector Neris if y'all want to give him a shot. Adam,
I want to
what?
actually.
If you fix him, if you fix Hector Neris, yeah, I will buy in on all the hype.
Yeah,
No, I'm looking. Yeah,
You say again?
Daniel.
I wanted him.
I thought I did too. I never seen a man DFA quicker in my life.
No,
Go ahead, Jackson.
can I rant about? He was talking about how the bullpen's gonna suck for his team. Can we talk about the Cardinals bullpen and what they did this season?
Look at the Braves,
But
man.
you're an all year problem. You're a season long issue.
We're a season long issue. He's a June issue, and he's
Exactly.
going about a June issue. The Cardinals
It'll be a
guess
June,
who-
July, August issue, and then like end of September we'll be finding him.
It's just this summer, man. The dog days of summer, dude.
Same thing every year.
Guess who the Cardinals signed as free agent? Just guess.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, nobody significant.
They
That's
signed
where you
one
go.
guy.
Oh,
One guy
yeah.
in for the bullpen. Phil Matten.
Mhm.
Phil Matten. That's it. That's it. I'm liking, but for the Cardinals this season, I like our bats. Our bats are looking fantastic. We have a 313 batting average for team batting average, so that's not bad.
Better than us.
So we're 4-3 right now. The problem is our bats are really hot. We scored at least 5 runs per game for the past seven games. Issue is our bullpen. Our bullpen. And he had the nerve to talk about June, July issue.
Okay, hold on.
Or season long
You asked me
issue.
you asked me my opinion on my team, and I gave it to you.
No, you're right. You're right. No,
I
he's right.
thought,
He's
hey,
right.
I like you did anything wrong.
You're talking about your off-season signings. Now, Alex Anthopoulos is not a guy that likes to throw
I just
money
can't
around.
do it. I can't.
But
do
when
it.
he does throw money around, he doesn't dig in the heart of the main issue, which is our bullpen, which took quite the hit over the offseason. But he throws a 3-year contract at Jurickson Profar. And what happens to him,
yeah.
Jackson? What happens to Jurickson Profar?
He didn't know about Profar. No, we didn't know who we signed. We didn't know who we signed.
Okay, but so of course, caught with PEDs, he gets that 80-game suspension. But even when he comes back for the second half of the season, it doesn't matter if he's batting at 328 as a natty, hitting 20-plus home runs. He can't play in the postseason. He's already got that postseason ban tied to him now.
Yeah.
And apparently the PEDs that he took is for women, anyways.
It's a THC. It's testosterone. It's
and it has
produces
something to
testosterone.
And apparently it improves your sperm count or something. I guess he was just trying to get his batting average up in the bedroom too. I don't know what was going on, but regardless, that pissed me off. And then on the exact same day, Renato Lopez goes on the 60-day IL, already having to get that shoulder surgery. So that's another hit that our rotation has to be on now. Now, Thankfully, on Friday night, we got the second masterclass this season by Spencer Strollenbach, which I truly believe, as long as he does not get stung by the injury bug, Spencer Strollenbach will be the next big thing on this rotation, alongside Spencer Strider, as long as he can stay healthy. Because Spencer Strollenbach pitched a 2-hit gem, 10 strikeouts.
Yeah.
It was against the Marlins. I'm not gonna hide the fact that it was against Marlins, but regardless, it was a strong performance. But I think Chase is going to agree with me here. The Braves' batting average, especially the average with runners in scoring position this year, has been a problem. We hired Tim Hires, from the hitting coach from the Rangers, to be our hitting coach this past offseason. And I know we're only 9 games in, but it's drawing some concern. Because we are leaving up to 7 to 8 guys left on base per game.
Look, AJ Smith-Shawver yesterday, perfect example. Didn't look terrible, didn't look great by any means, but didn't look awful. And he could have had run support behind him.
Yep.
But I think we racked up. I think in the first 4 innings we left 3 runners stranded, and up getting 9 hits that game, and didn't bring any runs across. Even Stuart Fairchild, his first at bat with the Brave, hit a triple, still didn't bring him across. It's just, I mean, anyone. Like I know we like to point fingers at our bullpen, but even on the days they look good, like that second game against the Padres, even the third game against the Padres, I thought the bullpen looked great. Sure. We just gave no offensive support, and it's not on them. It's our bats. It's all up and down the order, like Riley, Ozuna. Ozuna's starting to pick it up a little bit.
Look at the closer, Rocio Iglesias against the Dodgers in that fourth game of the series when we had the lead in the 4 outs to go left in the game, and he surrenders that RBI hit to Max Muncy, and then the next inning, Otani gets deep on him for the walk-off. It's just
so very, very quick question. Yeah. So y'all brought up Profar, y'all brought up Ronaldo Lopez, Daniel Karp. Have you been doing fantasy baseball this season?
No, but I did hear that Yahoo has a Torpedo Bat logo on there. But now Jurickson Profar, you could call him Profar from the Braves.
Yes, you can. We got Ozuna from the Braves and Profar from the Braves, absolutely. And we see how hey, you know what? Ozuna went through a dark time in his career, and we see where he is now. So maybe Profar can kind of find that light at the end of the tunnel. You know, he needs to go through his dark phase.
When's Acuna coming back? Next month, right?
Yeah, so Acuna's supposed to come back late May. Strider as well. They should be returning around the same time. Strider before Acuna, but roughly around the same time.
Strider's rehab games in Gwinnett. He's been throwing. I mean, his last rehab game this past Friday had 6 strikeouts, only given 1 hit through 5 innings. And it was strong.
Sean Murphy, who's been turning up in the minors, thank the Lord, he got reactivated. Yep. He's gonna be back on the team on Tuesday. We sent Trump back down to the minors. So we're going to pair him with Drake Baldwin, which though Drake Baldwin's batting like a .50 right now, does not tear the story. I love his swing, and he's got robbed multiple times. So I'm a big fan of Drake Baldwin.
He just has quality at bats. He just
well, the reason why I was asking that, Daniel Karp, because Steve and the other guy on our podcast, his fantasy baseball team consists of Profar, Ronaldo Lopez, and Ketel Marte, who just went down with an injury.
Yep.
So he's struggling. He's struggling. Yeah. I was going to ask you, how do you like J.C. Escara? I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Cool story.
Cool story.
Cool story. Yeah. Uber driver. It's cool. I mean, I think he definitely deserved a spot. Ooh, O'Neal Cruz just took an extra base hit away from Anthony Volpe. Oh well. Yeah. So it was pretty cool story. Teared up in the minor leagues in the spring training, and I think that was one of the big stories coming into this year was who's going to be the backup catcher to Austin Wells. They traded Trevino, and Ben Rice seems like he's not going to be a catcher, probably more of a DH, first base kind of guy.
Okay. I love Ben Rice, by the way.
If he has a great season this year, and regardless of what Paul Goldschmidt regardless of what happens with Paul Goldschmidt, I think that of how he performs this season, Ben Rice will probably be the starting first baseman next year. But yeah, now I'm just watching Andrew Heaney absolutely shove against my team.
I want to do a quick shout out to Dusty May, by the way. I don't. Oh, dude, when you were talking about Cole's story, dude, I kind of forgot what happened to him until he came and played for the Braves. It's like, oh yeah, Dusty May's back, and then he came from almost dying on a piece of lettuce to absolutely torching the Braves. Hurt my soul, but I was kind of happy for him at the same time. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up and shout him out.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today for our episode. I want to thank Daniel Karp for taking time out of his day, especially being up 24 hours for, his I wish we could do that for our radio show. I really wish we could, but I don't think they're going to allow us to. But we appreciate you taking time out of your day. We will see y'all next time. This will be up later. Make sure to follow on all socials. We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you, Mr. Karp.
Thanks for having me again.